Volcano has erupted, releasing streams of lava from under the Earth's surface. The teacups rattled first, delicate bone china dancing across wooden tables in the mountain village cafe. Then came the deep ancient groan from within Mount Vago's core, a sound no living person had ever heard. Birds erupted from treetops in black clouds as dust sifted from ceiling beam. No one recognized the sound for what it was, a giant awakening from 10 millennia of slumber, about to reveal humanity's most astonishing archaeological discovery. The unexpected awakening. It started with small tremors that locals barely noticed, just tiny vibrations rippling through the ground around Mount Vago. Scientists at the nearby Geological Survey Station picked them up on their instruments but initially dismissed them as routine seismic activity. These mountains had been quiet for so long that nobody seriously considered the possibility of an eruption. Mount Vago wasn't even classified as an active volcano anymore. The last confirmed eruption was roughly 10,000 years ago, according to carbon dating of ancient lava flow. The first tremors rippled through the village like whispers. Mount Vago had slept for 10 millennia, its power forgotten by all but the oldest legend. Children noticed first, their marbles rolling uphill against gravity's pull. Then came the heat. Well water turned warm in overnight buckets, carrying traces of sulfur that made livestock refuse to drink. Birds abandoned nesting sites mid-season, leaving half-built homes in the highest branches. The mountain was stirring from ancient slumber, its deep core shifting after 10,000 years of silence. When the first plume appeared, not dramatic fire but a tentative thread of vapor rising against the dawn sky, scientists finally acknowledged what villagers had felt in their bones for weeks. Something primordial was awakening. Over the course of several weeks, the tremors grew stronger. Groundwater near the mountain began heating up and locals reported strange sulfur smells in the air. Wildlife started behaving oddly. Birds abandoned their nests and even the usually stubborn mountain goats descended to lower elevations. When the first plume of smoke appeared from Vago's peak on a crisp Tuesday morning, the authorities finally took action. They evacuated nearby villages and towns within a 15-mile radius, established a no-fly zone over the mountain, and called in volcanic experts from around the world. Within 48 hours, Mount Vago put on a spectacular and terrifying show as it roared back to life with an explosive eruption that sent ash clouds miles into the sky. First discoveries in the aftermath. Once the initial eruption had settled and scientists determined it was safe to approach certain areas, research teams began examining the newly exposed terrain. What should have been a routine post-eruption survey quickly turned into something extraordinary. The lead geologist was documenting changes to the eastern slope when he noticed what looked like straight lines in the freshly exposed cliff face. Natural formations don't create perfect right angles. Looking closer, he realized he was staring at a stone wall. James Harmon's boots sank into fresh volcanic ash as he surveyed Mount Vago's transformed eastern slope. The afternoon sun cast long shadows across a newly formed cliff face where a massive section of mountainside had sheared away during the eruption. Something caught his eye. An unnatural regularity amid nature's chaos. Approaching the exposed surface, his heart quickened at the unmistakable sight of perfectly cut stone blocks forming a wall doorway, and beyond them the geometric precision of rooms and corridors descending into darkness. Not random structures, but an entire settlement built directly into the mountain, sealed by ash 10 millennia ago and preserved in perfect suspension. Tools still lay on workbenches. Looms held half-completed textiles. Storage vessels remained filled with perfectly preserved grains. It wasn't just ancient architecture but life interrupted, a civilization frozen at the exact moment the mountain had last awakened. As teams carefully removed more ash and debris, they uncovered not just random structures but an entire settlement built directly into the mountainside. The eruption had blown away a massive section of the mountain that had apparently formed during the previous eruption millennia ago, revealing chambers, passageways, and rooms that had been sealed off from the outside world for thousands of years. It was like opening a time capsule. They found tools, pottery, jewelry, and even preserved organic material, all arranged as if the inhabitants had just stepped out moments ago. The most astonishing aspect was how the previous eruption had sealed the settlement without destroying it. A quick-moving cloud of ash had apparently entombed the city so rapidly that everyday life was frozen in place. Meals still laid out on tables, looms with half-finished textiles, and storage rooms filled with perfectly preserved grains and dried fruits. Evidence of advanced knowledge. As archaeologists moved deeper into the settlement, they discovered something remarkable. This wasn't a primitive society, but one with sophisticated understanding of their environment, particularly the volcano they lived beneath. The most stunning find was a circular chamber that served as an observatory. The walls featured detailed carvings tracking volcanic activity. They were monitoring the mountain, recording its patterns of sleep and wakefulness. In the observatory chamber, walls were covered in volcanic activity patterns, with headlamps casting shadows across ancient carvings that tracked eruption cycles across millennia. At the chamber's center sat a stone table marked with concentric rings containing notations in an undeciphered script, not random markings but methodical volcanic forecasting. Nearby, a pendulum system suspended above fine volcanic sand revealed their sophisticated understanding of seismic activity. Different tremors created distinct patterns, allowing inhabitants to distinguish harmless movements from dangerous volcanic stirring. Most remarkable were the evacuation tunnels, not panicked afterthoughts, but carefully engineered passages with air shafts, water systems, and stocked emergency supplies. The discovery of children's teaching tools, miniature replicas of monitoring instruments carved from volcanic stone, revealed how this knowledge passed through generations. This wasn't a civilization merely reacting to disaster but one that had developed an intimate conversation with the mountain, reading its subtle language of tremors, gas emissions, and thermal changes with an accuracy that astounded modern volcanologists. The observatory contained stone tables carved with what appeared to be predictions of eruption cycles, suggesting these people understood that volcanoes operate on long-term patterns. More impressive still were the evacuation tunnels, a complex network of passages leading away from the mountain and toward the distant coastline. These weren't just random caves. They were carefully engineered escape routes with air shafts, water collection systems, and rest chambers stocked with emergency supplies. The civilization knew they lived on borrowed time. Perhaps most astonishing was a room containing hundreds of clay tablets inscribed with what linguists believe are warnings about the volcano. Early translations suggest the civilization had developed a sophisticated understanding of geological warning signs, from changes in local springs, to unusual animal behavior, to specific types of tremors. They weren't just passively hoping the mountain would stay quiet. They were actively studying it, much like modern volcanologists do today. A complex society revealed. As more of the settlement was excavated, a picture emerged of a highly organized society with specialized roles, advanced agriculture, and trade networks extending far beyond their mountain home. The settlement contained distinct neighborhoods, with architecture reflecting different social classes. Elite residences featured intricate stonework, private bathing chambers, and decorative elements, while simpler dwellings housed what appeared to be craftspeople and farmers. Despite these divisions, the community showed signs of remarkable cooperation. Within the mountain stronghold, distinct neighborhoods emerged as researchers advanced deeper into the settlement. Family dwellings revealed intimate glimpses of interrupted lives. Pottery bowls still resting on stone tables, spoons beside them as if their owners had merely stepped away. Half-completed textiles hung from looms, their mineral-derived dyes still vibrant after millennia. In elite residences, private bathing chambers featured intricate stonework and decorative elements, while simpler dwellings housed craftspeople and farmers. Yet despite these social distinctions, communal infrastructure showed remarkable cooperation. The agricultural innovations particularly impressed researchers. Terrace fields carved into hostile mountainsides supported 12 distinct crop varieties, specialized strains developed specifically for this harsh volcanic microclimate. Storage chambers contained perfectly preserved grains and dried fruits, evidence of sophisticated preservation techniques. Perhaps most striking was how completely the volcano permeated daily life. From children's toys carved as miniature mountains to cooking vessels adorned with flowing lava motifs, every aspect of their material culture incorporated the volcano, not merely as neighbor but as the central character in their shared story, a presence woven through the fabric of their existence. This wasn't just adaptation to environment, it was a profound cultural symbiosis between human and geological forces.